Rabbi Jason Sobel was taken to heaven, heard music beyond this world, and told about the next move of God. I've got a Jewish rabbi from New Jersey that studied at a yeshiva in Israel and boldly says that Jesus, Yeshua, is the Messiah, not just the Jewish Messiah, but is the Messiah of the whole world. And he's had quite an amazing search to come up with this conclusion. Would you believe his search started out by being a Jew-boo? You've never heard that term, have you? You think I'm making it up. I'm not. Rabbi Jason, tell me, what in the world is a Jew-boo?
Shalom. A Jew-boo is a Jewish Buddhist. And I grew up in a traditional Jewish family, was working in the music industry, looked at the lives of all these famous people, and I said, there has to be more to life than just this. Began a spiritual journey. I didn't want just religion. I wanted a real relationship, a real encounter with the Lord. So I was going to synagogue, studying with my rabbi, but through martial arts and yoga, I became a Jew-boo, a New Age Jew, a Jewish Buddhist. I'd meditate for hours a day. One day, as I was meditating, my soul began to vibrate. It left my body. I could see my body there. It went through the clouds. And the next thing I know, I was in heaven, and I saw this king on this throne in this glorious light. I felt the power of God pulsating through every cell of my body. Every fabric of my being began to come alive with the power and the presence of God. I had never felt anything like this. And this king on this throne told me I was called to serve him. And I knew that that king was Jesus, that it was Yeshua.
Well, coming from a traditional background, I don't think it was that calm, was it?
No, I mean, it was crazy because I knew nothing about Yeshua, knew nothing about Jesus, right? And I have this encounter with him, and the next thing I know, I'm back in my room, shaking under the power of heaven, in this state of euphoria, start running around, saying, I'm called to serve him. I'm called to serve him. My Jewish mother's like, you're called to serve who? Jesus, we're Jewish, for crying out loud.
Okay, then... And by the way, in a moment, wait till you hear his encounter in heaven after becoming a believer. We'll do that shortly. But your best friend, John, something happened to him too, and he starts talking to you. What happened?
Yeah, he has an encounter with the Lord. He comes of faith in Yeshua. And he calls me on the telephone and he says, Jason, you went to Hebrew school as a child. Could you tell the difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament? I said, sure. So he reads me this passage about the crucifixion. And I said, John, that's easy. It's the New Testament. He said, let me read you another passage. He was bruised for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. And by his stripes we're healed. He said, Jason, old or new? I said, John, that's easy. It's the New Testament. It's Jesus. He said, no, that's Isaiah 53. The Jewish prophet speaking 700 years before he ever walked the face of the earth. And I was blown away. I'd never heard that passage growing up.
And then he wanders into a Messianic Jewish synagogue by our friend, Rabbi Jonathan Kahn, and he accepts the Messiah in that synagogue. And of course, he's given his first New Testament. And he takes it home. And his Jewish mother promptly, how'd your mother find that? Just put it in the living room?
No. Listen, I hid it in my bedroom, but moms have a special spiritual gift to find anything. You can't hide anything from your mom.
And then a week later, this is amazing. A week later, he sees his first miracle. And I mean, you don't start with a headache, do you? What happened?
No, I used to help homeless people in New York City. and I get a collect call from my friend Jeff, who was in NYU Medical Center. He had been sleeping outside. He got gangrene. The doctors tell him, we're going to have to amputate your legs from the knees down.
Awful, homeless
Horrible.
guy.
Could you imagine being in New York City with no legs, homeless on the street? I mean, it's unimaginable. So I just read the book of Acts. So I go to the hospital and see him. I said, look, they heal people. They pray for him in the Bible. I remembered a passage in the book of Acts. I laid my hands on him. I said, silver and gold have I none. What I have in the name of Yeshua, rise, take up your bed and walk.
You took the word literally.
I took it literally. That's what it said. That's
so
what
what happened to your friend?
He got healed, he got saved, and he walked out of the hospital a week later.
Say, that's normal. It's too bad. People pick up, we Jews think we have a corner in the market. Christians have a corner in the market too. It's from fitting in the roof. Tradition. You wrote a brand new book, and you are bringing together Jews and Christians, and the subject is aligning with God's appointed times. Why did you write this book?
I believe it's so important. It is about the biblical Jewish holidays. I think every believer in Yeshua needs to understand for a number of reasons. One is the biblical holidays are prophetic. When you understand their significance, when you read this book, you're going to tap in to the prophetic meaning and the prophetic power for your life, and it releases that in such a way that it is life-changing and transformative.
Well, I am amazed at the number of top Christian prophets that say to me, Sid, I don't understand it, but at these feasts, it's like a portal, a door opens to heaven, like Jacob and the angels coming up and down the ladder. It happens on the feast. Why is that?
Yeah, because they're called in the Bible the Moedim, the Lord's appointed times. God has set these appointments going back to the very beginning of creation when he says he put the stars in the sky, the sun and the moon for times and for seasons is for the appointed times. These holidays are woven into the fabric of creation. They're not just meant to be past remembrances. They're meant to be reoccurrences and reactivations of these prophetic holidays in our life. And of course, every Jewish holiday finds its fulfillment in Yeshua Jesus. Every major event in his life happened on a biblical holiday. So of course they're going to be significant. God wants to do the same in our life today.
Now, you're not saying that you have to do these feasts. You're saying, what a platform to understand who Yeshua